Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都还难
It's just complicated. So much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Georgia Massett joining me for this episode. So Georgia, in the previous episode we've talked about Loong, the Chinese dragon being the majestic, great zodiac animal, and we mentioned a little bit of the Loong-related words and stuff. Do you have time to do a little bit more research, or do you have any other understanding towards this special Chinese zodiac animal now?
Yes, I looked at it online and also to the Chinese zodiac a little bit compared to our Western that we use a lot. Yeah, I dig a little bit into deeper and it fascinated me even more. I've looked at all the zodiac signs of my friends. It was really fun.
So for our dear listeners, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 快看！群里有人寻找一起去中国旅行的小伙伴。
真的吗？我想去。如果还能提供一条龙服务的话就好了。
那恐怕没有，但人多力量大，我们可以一起做攻略。
没错，快去接龙报名。
快看，群里有人寻找一起去中国旅行的小伙伴。
真的吗？我想去，如果还能提供一条龙服务的话就好了。
那恐怕没有，但人多力量大，我们可以一起做攻略。
没错，快去接龙报名。
That is the conversation I can totally see myself having with my friends, because sometimes you just wish that with the right amount of money you get to have the all-in-one service. You get to enjoy everything.
Yes, and also sometimes it's more of a surprise. You're not planning, you're just going with the flow. Yes, someone else to organize in your place. So sometimes it's really, really good just to have someone else organize your trip or your experience.
But you know what? Normally in life, it is us who are providing the all-in-one service. We are being the 一条龙 instead. And it's just like, you know, the irony. Maybe on one aspect, you get to enjoy the service, and for other matter, you got to provide the service. Maybe that's the trade-off. You never know. But for today, at least we get to enjoy this fun conversation with a lot of language points that we can learn and share. So for the first sentence, 快看！群里有人寻找一起去中国旅行的小伙伴。
Look, there is someone in the group chat that is looking for traveling companions to go to China.
Great. So, 快看!
Look, quickly.
Remember, we talked about 快看 being not exactly quickly look, but in this case, it actually is showcasing that we are trying to ask you to pay attention to this, and I am stressing my enthusiasm when it comes to this matter. So I'm saying 快看快看. It's like quick look. 群里.
A group?
Yes, actually 群 is a group. We sometimes say 人群, that's a group of people. And there's also, for example, 羊群, a herd of sheep. Or 牛群, 牛 we know is ox, so a herd of ox or cows. So 群 is definitely just group, and you can pair it up with the group of things you're thinking about. And that is why sometimes we would also say 一群人, so a group of people, and 群 is used as a measure word, as a quantity word. And this 群, I would assume, is actually an online chatting group because they're looking for someone and you get to see it. So it's just like, we talked about this quite a lot. Chinese is a high context language. And judging by the context, I would assume it's a chat group.
Yes. Oh, okay. So a chat group with a group of people. Okay.
And then 有人,
someone.
寻找.
寻找 is looking for.
Looking for, definitely. Both 寻 and 找 carries the meaning of look for something. So this is the kind of verb that is formed with two other verb kind of characters with similar meanings. So 寻找.
寻找. I only knew 找.
Yes, and we talked about Chinese being the kind of language that likes two-syllable words more often. So 寻找 would be the relatively more formal kind. 一起.
一起 together.
Together. 去.
To go.
To go. 中国.
To China.
旅行.
Travel.
的.
Of.
小伙伴.
小伙伴 companion.
Actually, 小伙伴 is kind of like friends, fellows, because we know 小 is small and 伙伴, yes, here is companion, it's friends, people can do things together with. And the reason we're using 小伙伴 here is because I would say recently, as in these years, online as well as in real life, people started to refer to their friends as 小伙伴 to be nicer and more to show certain kind of closeness and to lighten the tone. So if you are using 朋友, it's definitely okay, but 朋友 is not as colloquial and cute and I would say casual as 小伙伴. Relatively more trendy.
Okay, for a circle of friends, is it for a small group of people or can it exceed like the 10 people or more?
Oh, actually, 小伙伴 basically refers to a friend or a lot of friends. It does not really matter. Okay. And then we have 真的吗?我想去,如果还能提供一条龙服务的话就好了.
Really? I would really like to go. But it would be great if there's a one-stop service.
Ooh, greedy. Ooh, I'm like that as well. So, 真的吗?
真的吗? Really? Are you serious?
Is there another way to say that in Chinese?
真的吗? It doesn't come to my mind immediately. I would use 真的.
That works. You can also say 真的假的.
真的假的?
So when we put a word and the opposite word of it together, we are generally asking a question. For example, we know 多 is many, 少 is few. And if you say 多少钱, you're actually asking how many, right? How much? So that's the idea. So 真的假的, you're saying yes or no, really? Or are you kidding me? Something like that.
真的假的?
我想去.
I would like to go.
So 我
I
想
to want to.
Yes, and 去
to go.
Yes. 如果
if
还
also
能
there is the possibility. There could be the possibility.
提供
提供 to provide.
To provide. This is similar. I think both 提 and 供 carries the meaning of provide. 一条龙服务.
Our word for today, all-in-one service.
Yes. Can you take a guess? How come 一条龙服务 carries the meaning of one-stop service?
Well, in my opinion, long carries this meaning of something that it's circular, also in this case, and it's completed. So it's a very good way of saying something that is organized from the start to the finish, almost like a circle.
Yes, that is a good understanding. And in the meantime, long is really long from the head, and then you've got the abdomen, and then you've got the tail, you've got the entire process, this really long process. And 一条龙服 服务 is like this entirety of Long is provided to you. So from the very beginning, you don't have to plan anything. And during the travel, you don't have to, for example, buying ticket or thinking about hotels. Everything is settled and you will be sent back to your hometown or wherever you want to go, and that would be a 一条龙服务, the all-in-one service package. 一条龙 suggests that from top to the end, and 服务 is actually service. So that's the idea. And the funny thing is sometimes we use it to joke about the kind of work we do. We would say, we provide a 一条龙 service, 一条龙服务, and guess what? I am that long because I actually serve you from the very beginning to the very end. If you want anything, you just ask me. I mean, it's a jokingly expression, but the idea is that you do not have to worry about anything, and I will take care of them. And even if sometimes I can't, there will be someone providing you with that service.
Yes, it sounds so reliable. I would go immediately if it was me.
It's a very attentive attitude. I think it's also reassuring and 一条龙服务. And I quite like the analogy here because like you said, long can be circle, can be from the very beginning to the very finishing point. And it can also suggest that everything is very complete, is done perfectly.
Yes, exactly. This is what carried into my mind when I think about 一条龙服务.
And then we have 的话.
Dehuà, it finishes, it's together with rúguǒ. So in case there is a one-stop service, then I would go.
Perfect. See, you understand it perfectly. I feel like I do not have to teach you anything from here. I think I do not have to give you more information for this one. That is why I'm going to quiz you a little bit. So we already know that the 如果 dehuà, it is a pattern commonly used in Chinese to express the idea of if something, something. And then you continue to say, then something, something. So what if I want to say, if it rains tomorrow, we won't go?
I would say, 如果明天下雨的话，我们就不去了.
Perfect. 如果明天下雨的话，我们就不去了. And here, to pair up with 如果的话, sometimes you can also use 就. 就 here serves as then. So if something, something, then something, something. For example, I can also ask, if someone had helped him, he won't have had this accident.
如果有人帮他的话，他就不会出事了.
Perfect. 如果有人帮他的话，他就不会出事了. That's how you use it. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, is it okay if there is not dehuà? Or does it really need to be there? Because I think that sometimes I omit it. Is it a mistake?
Actually, I think people would totally understand you. For example, if you say, 如果有人帮他，他就不会出事. But do you see that subtle difference? That is, if I use 的话, I would generally more likely to add a le at the end of the entire sentence. But if I do not say 的话, there would be no le. I think it's more of a habit kind of thing. When it comes to the language structure, sometimes it's just more elegant to have certain particles embedded or injected or put at the end of the sentence. And you have to notice as well as be used to these little subtle differences and remember them. That would help you to be a better Chinese speaker. I mean, without all these, it's still understandable level of Chinese. People still get what you're saying. It's just not as sophisticated and elegant.
Yes, I think it looks more complete, more formal. It's important to learn the right way to structure phrases. It's so much better.
I'm glad. And then we have the next sentence. 那恐怕没有，但人多力量大，我们可以一起做攻略.
I'm afraid there is not. But with more people and talented minds, we can go together.
Aw, you also added talented minds there. That's very lovely. You're right. Okay, so 那
then
恐怕
to be afraid.
To be afraid of. Do you know another way of saying be afraid of?
恐怕 I don't actually.
Have you ever heard of the word 害怕?
害怕 No?
Actually, 害怕 is a more colloquial way. It's a more, let's say, commonly seen way of saying afraid of. For example, you can say it's too dark. I am afraid. 太黑了，我害怕. You're seriously, genuinely just saying I am afraid of something. Whereas 恐怕 is more like, well, it of course can be used to express I'm afraid. Whereas 恐怕 is more like I'm afraid that, or I'm concerned that. So you cannot say 太黑了，我恐怕. It does not work that way. It's more like I'm concerned of this situation. So it's not I'm afraid of this something. It's more like I'm afraid this might happen. So it's not actual afraid of something. It's more like worried about something.
Being concerned. Okay, I understand the difference. I didn't before, actually.
So here, like I said, it does not need to be something you're literally afraid of. It may be that you're trying to soften the blow of some bad news, as in, I'm afraid that I'm too busy washing my hair tomorrow night to come over and see the 2,000 pictures of your trip on Comic-Con. This is not very nice, but you get the gesture. And the idea is, I'm not afraid of it. I'm just, afraid I do not want to do it. So it's kind of like a soften the tone kind of thing. And you can definitely use it to also talk about the things that you're worried about. For example, I'm afraid it's going to rain today.
今天我恐怕要下雨.
See, you cannot say 我恐怕要下雨 because it is not you that's raining. It is the sky that's raining, right? So you can say 今天恐怕要下雨.
Yes, this makes totally more sense.
Or you can say, I'm afraid we are going to need your help with this matter. How to say that in Chinese?
I would say 这件事恐怕得你帮忙.
Perfect. So 这件事, this thing, 恐怕, I'm afraid, 得, would have to, 你, you, 帮忙, lend a hand. Give some help. So more often 恐怕 is used in these occasions as well. That is when you're asking a favor, you're saying, I'm afraid this is going to happen. Again, soften the tone.
Oh, can I say to a friend, I'm afraid I'm going to be late? So 我恐怕我会迟到.
You can just say 恐怕我会迟到. So you do not have to, yes, you do not have to put 我 there twice. And you can say 我恐怕会迟到 or 恐怕我会迟到. Both work.
Okay, it makes totally sense.
Great. Going back to the conversation. 那恐怕没有.
There isn't. So
there
I'm
isn't.
afraid that there is not.
Perfect. 但
But
人多力量大.
With more people, we get to have more strength.
Yes. So 人
people.
多
more.
力量
strength.
大
bigger.
Yes. So it's people, more, strength, more. The more people, the greater strength. The more people, the better help. So it's kind of like, I think it's a set phrase, 人多力量大, when you want to express the idea that we can do this because we have enough talents, we have enough support, we have, like you translated in the beginning, talented minds and more people. We get to make it happen. So we would, in Chinese, insert these kinds of expressions in sentences. They are kind of like a allusion or a fixed phrase or even certain kind of idioms you get to see in the language to show that we're quite determined or to make our argument more convincing. So here, 但 but 人多力量大, it's saying there are a lot of us. We can make it happen. And what can we make happen? 可以一起做攻略. So that's the logic behind the sentence. And here, 我们
we
可以
we can
一起
together
做攻略.
To make a strategy, to plan a strategy.
Yeah, so we know 做攻略 is the kind of plan we have for a trip or for a coming task. So yeah, here it is. 人多力量大，我们可以一起做攻略。没错，快去接龙报名。
That is right. Let's sign up for it together.
Yes, 没错。
没错, that's right.
No wrong, not wrong. Actually, when Chinese people say not wrong, we are not being pessimistic or being passive aggressive. We're genuinely saying yes. It's just how the language is. 快去
come.
Or quickly go.
Yeah, quickly go.
Yes. So it's, again, I think come actually works. It's kind of like saying we should definitely do this. Let's do this now. 接龙.
接龙 to build a sequence, to sign up.
To sign up, to build a sequence, to... Well, I think it's a little bit unfair to ask you how to translate 接龙 because this is a very interesting word in itself. It's a little bit like... You can imagine the shape of a long. It's long, and it can contain a lot of links if you are building a, I don't know, Lego long or a something of such sort or a model of long. There would be a lot of different links, and you're putting the link one after another. The action of 接龙 is a little bit like making the long longer and longer by putting one link after another. You can imagine building a domino. So one plate after another, making it longer and longer. And that is the action of 接龙, because 接 carries the meaning of follow, and 龙 we know is the long. So 接龙 here literally means to build a sequence. And how do you do that? Or when would you do that? That is when you're signing up for something. For example, there are 100 people in this chat group, and someone asked, I'd like to go travel to China, and would you like to go as well? And you need to make a list of the people that are about to go. So people sign up one after another. And that types of signing up would be 接龙报名. We know 报名 is to sign up, and 接龙 is the form of it. And the thing is, I'm not really sure if our listeners out there are familiar with the WeChat group kind of thing. So WeChat is basically a chatting app here in China. And in a WeChat group, there is literally this 接龙 function in it. So the idea is for those who starts this 接龙 action in the group, you would have your information, and everybody who follows it would add their information on whatever information that's already there. So the first person's information, and then the second one, once the second person fill in the information of his or hers, you would see both of the first two people's information in it. So that's the 接龙 function. It's easier for those who are starting this, signing up for a certain kind of activity, or who's going to attend what kind of events, kind of information collecting. It's making this information collecting easier via the help of the chat group. So that's the conversation. Do you have any questions?
No, actually, everything is crystal clear.
Great. Then let's give it a go. 快看，群里有人寻找一起去中国旅行的小伙伴。
真的吗？我想去，如果还能提供一条龙服务的话就好了。
那恐怕没有，但人多力量大，我们可以一起做攻略。
没错。快去接龙报名。
Great! You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Honglin, and Georgia. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's learn about some more common phrases containing the character 龙. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Georgia. So Georgia, do you know any other long-related phrases in Chinese? Because we've already talked about 一条龙服务, all-in-one service package, or like one-stop service from the very beginning to the end, and that's the 一条龙. And 接龙, build a sequence. So making the long longer and longer, meaning that you're building a sequence. Do you know any other long-related phrases?
I know one, which is 跑龙套, to play a minor role or something supporting in a performance, not the biggest star role.
That is a good one. Actually, it's kind of a hard one. And do you know why 跑龙套 means play a minor role?
I actually don't.
Have you ever seen a dragon dance, a 龙舞?
No.
See, that's why. Because traditionally, especially in the southern part of the country, the southern part of China, during major festivals like traditional Chinese New Year, the Spring Festival, or sometimes even during, for example, the Mid-Autumn Festival, the Lantern Festival, there will be dragon dances and lion dances, 舞龙舞狮. And these 舞龙舞狮, normally you would see this person standing in this really long, long suit. And one person would act as the head, and there will be several other people inside this really long suit of long so that they support the long so the long can make all different kinds of moves. And at the end, in the tail, there will be another person holding the tail. So the long can actually act very flexibly. And in that performance, you don't really see people's face. You just see the long playing. And that is the idea. These minor roles, or actually supporting roles, are supporting the long. They're supporting the main thing. And you don't see their faces, especially those who are the middle supporters.
Now it makes totally sense, and I completely understand. And thinking about it, I actually saw it in Chinatown, New York. It was amazing. It was so good. I loved it. And now I can picture the imagining of being in the middle, so supporting but not having the most important role.
Yeah, that's 跑龙套. And sometimes people would also use the expression to be a little bit humble. They would say, 我就是跑跑龙套. Something like, I'm just, helping out here and there. I didn't do this. I'm not the hero. But they're just being humble. So that's another way of using it.
Okay, now it makes totally sense.
Yes, and another one I would also really like to share with you is 摆龙门阵. It means to chat. Actually, in southwest China's Sichuan province, it describes a cultural activity where a few people gather together, chatting, boasting a little bit, and engaging in informal and casual discussions. So they're sitting there and forming this kind of like a door. I don't really think it's a door or a gate kind of form, but it's a really traditional way of saying having this casual, not so formal kind of chat. Have some fun, chatting together.
Yeah, 摆龙门阵. So, yeah, I can picture these people having some tea, discussing. I can feel the bubbling. I can picture it.
Yes. And another one would be 来龙去脉. Have you heard of this one? 来龙去脉. It's actually a little bit harder because it's a Chinese idiom and it refers to the origins and development of a matter or the, ins and outs of a situation. It is often used to inquire about or discuss the details, history, and various aspects of a particular issue or event. And this phrase suggests a comprehensive understanding of the underlying factors and complicities involved in a given context. So basically, you're seeing everything, the outsider appearance of it, as well as the inner cause and the situation of the entire thing. 来龙去脉.
来龙去脉. It brings this completeness of the long. So everything there is to know about a situation, I will uncover it. I understand.
Yes, so that's 来龙去脉. Actually, there are still a lot of things, a lot of phrases and idioms in regard with the Chinese character long. I think it's a quite good occasion to learn about these ones because learning a language can be quite hard. There are hundreds and thousands of characters and words and way to use them, and you gotta find a good moment to remember them, to have a good example to learn. And I feel like being in the interjection of welcoming the year of Long would be a good occasion to learn about the character Long.
Absolutely. And also it carries much meaning, so many things, and it really talks about the Chinese culture in itself, how phrases are constructed and around just a word. So I think it's great to learn it.
I agree. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Georgia on the line. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search for Takeaway Chinese. Don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and ratings. If you like what you're listening to, give us a 5-star ratings. It'll help us and help fellow Chinese learners to find us. 感谢收听，我们下次再见。
Goodbye everyone, 再见。